This is the latest disclosure in a report from National Civil Defense Headquarters in Washington. It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life.
Welcome to Dead Radio.
We're not doing that.
How did she come to have sex with a dead man?
Don't call me Radio Unit 91.
You're a dead man. You're a dead man!
He's God here in this radio station.
Place where the dead speak.
Rebel Radio!
I'm a fake? Yes. How'd you like to be dead?
You ever think about doing radio?
My team is dead!
But you're not crazy. You're me. And this is just radio.
By the powers vested in me by the Federal Communications Commission, I command you to get on the microphone in a serious manner and continue this broadcast.
All right. Here we go. Okay, there we go. That's better. All right, welcome everyone. Episode 158.
Jesus. I feel like it was like 100 not that long ago.
Yeah. It's starting to get really old.
Yeah. It's time to start firing people.
Hey, welcome to Dead Radio. Bad Seeds here. Go.
Shake some things up around here.
It's like those sci-fi movies where it's in the future and everybody just lives forever, and then they realize that they made a horrible mistake by choosing to live forever. It's like, gosh, fucking damn it! Like, why are we living forever? Like, we should have just all died at 95.
Yeah.
That was a great age for everybody to die. Normally,
Yeah.
I don't think the same is true for podcasts, but we're gonna find out.
We're still kind of we're getting. I don't think we've had that episode where we can like die tomorrow yet. Maybe.
No. The Church of Satan was good.
Yeah, we had the
Yeah.
Church of Satan, the head high priest of the Church of Satan on.
I'm sorry. Is the head priest of the Church of Satan not just Satan?
Yeah,
Is it like an actual dude?
No, they don't actually believe in Satan.
Oh.
Yeah.
They're atheists. It's great. They do it. It's just to troll people.
It's more in a nutshell. Yeah,
so that
it's
when
mostly
in the
trolling.
90s during the Satanic Panic, they have this guy on like Maury, and he's like, "You didn't even bother to do any research at all. We don't believe in the devil, you idiot." It's great. It's hilarious.
That's kind of like the whole like when bands go into green rooms and they have like their weird fucked up requests, and it's like, we only want green M&Ms, and it's way at the end of the writer, and it's just to see if the people like actually read the writer or not. They don't actually give a fuck like what color M&Ms they get, but if they show up and like there's either no M&Ms or it's like multicolored M&Ms, they're like, haha, you motherfuckers didn't read our contract. Anyways, hey, how's it going?
Yeah, how's it going?
Oh, you know what? I should send Bill a rider for my interview next week.
Oh yes, we definitely have to do that. We're going to be doing some radio spots for the festival that we're putting on.
Oh, cool.
HV Creator Fest, and
Nice.
Yeah, we should send him a rider.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We know a couple of guys over there. So
You should demand the head of the Church of Satan to be there.
Yeah.
With like, a
Demand-
bowl full of M&Ms.
Yeah, just I need a velvet print of a tiger hanging on the wall.
I was in a touring band for years, and before I got involved with Bad Seed, and we purposely put like weird stuff into the writer. What was the? Because we were just trying to make them laugh because we figured like if they liked us, they would treat us better, which was true. And like the last thing was we demand a clown, a crossbow, and a unicorn. Or no, a clown suit, a crossbow, and a unicorn. And like we would get the weirdest like combination of any three of those things. Like we'd show up in the green room and it'd be like a full, like one time we got like a full unicorn mask, like a 3 foot tall, like legit silicone like unicorn mask. And then we used to we
this
went
came
into
out
like,
of your pay.
No, but it was just like they have like the writer budget, you know, where
Yeah.
it's like they can spend $500 on booze and unicorn masks apparently.
Oh, so you were in like a legit band.
Yeah,
then.
and so then like we were like we would roll into festivals, and whoever was sitting shotgun, then the thing became like you have to wear the unicorn mask, and you can't laugh, and you can't like look towards the security guard. You have to like just look straight ahead, wearing this fucking huge unicorn mask, and then like we would
it's just business as usual.
Yeah, and then you just like see how long it took the security guard to either acknowledge it, or if they're super pro, they just like didn't give a fuck because they'd been doing this job for way too long. I don't don't know.
Another
already-
gig, another
yeah.
dollar.
Another unicorn mask.
So yeah, we got Bram. It's pronounced.
Yep.
Because I was
yeah.
saying Bram because I'm a big fan
fine.
of Bram Stoker's
Yeah.
Dracula.
Well, named after him actually.
Really?
Yeah, my parents are not vampire fans per se, but literary fans and like the name.
Wow.
Yeah, so
That's- wow.
not named after him, but they took whatever. They enjoyed the name itself. And
Fun fact.
Yeah. Fun fact, my last name is Kinchelo, which apparently there's only
Yeah, I wasn't gonna try.
yeah, no worries. But so like between Bram and Kinchelo, I am actually the only Bram Kinchelo in the world.
You're
right
super
now,
easy to
I
find on
think. Yeah,
Facebook.
and
You type in Bram
Yeah.
and a K, and your name
It's like,
comes up.
boom.
Yeah.
Also, so like my personal website, like SEO is awesome. Like
Yeah.
bramkinchelo@gmail. If anybody actually now wants to email me, that's my email address, and it was super easy to find.
Don't send him dick pics.
Don't, dick
Don't.
pics. Dick pics are not necessarily needed at this point in time.
Nobody sends me dick pics, and you tell
Yeah.
them to all the time,
Yeah.
so it's fine. No one's sending anybody any dick.
But no, it's
pics.
been fun. It's been weird having. I mean, it's been fun having an unusual name because I don't have to, like I said, ever worry about like getting a website or
Or getting arrested because you have the same name as a criminal.
Yeah,
Heard
or
those
that.
Stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some guy spent like 30 days in jail in like Texas or something because he lost his ID, and
Yeah.
when
Is
he
that a
told it,
reason?
yeah, it was like years ago.
Oh.
I think
Also
they talked about it
Texas.
on O&A.
Yeah.
He lost his ID, and he got pulled over or something, and told the cop his name, and like the guy had a warrant out for his arrest, and then he had to have like paperwork mailed down there
Right.
to get him out of jail.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. Always travel with your ID, kids. That's the lesson out of that. And also just don't have the same name as a criminal, I guess.
And
but-
don't be one of those dummies that has all your credit cards in like your phone case. Then you lose your phone, you lose everything.
Oh God.
What are they thinking?
Oh yeah, no,
I
that's a
watch
bad
them
idea.
all day long at the coffee shop. Just got their license and all of their credit cards attached to the back of their phone.
Well, and that's the thing. They pick up the phone, they flip it open. I don't understand how one of those times it's gonna get old and loose and flabby.
Goddamn
and
right.
everything's gonna go flopping
Well, these
around.
are like these are
Wait,
like
wait, I'm sorry. Is that a dildo attached to a bell?
Yeah.
Well, it's attached to the table. It's used to ring the bell.
I see.
What's it called?
Yeah.
The gong, the dong gong.
the Dong
Dong
Gong.
Gong?
Yeah. I believe
Have you put
Hellride 102 named that.
Yes.
Have you put the Dong Gong to the Thong song lyric wise yet?
Not yet. Which
No,
thong?
but I'm
which,
really-
Dong Gong.
which thong song?
The Thong
Oh,
song.
by Cisco.
Yeah.
Not by Caius.
I don't know the guys.
We should do.
I didn't
we
realize
should-
there was more than one thong song.
There is.
I thought it was just like you said.
I can't wait until this show is making enough money that we will pay a couple $1,000s to license the thong song for a YouTube video.
For the Dong song.
Yeah.
The Dong Gong.
Yeah.
The Dong Gong thong song. That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
That sounds bad, but that is a mouthful also.
That's what the bell's
Yeah.
for. Yeah, so it's Bram Kajazada
Yeah.
from, he's the Director of Sales and Marketing. Is that still the official title?
That's true. Yeah, one of the owners and director of sales and marketing of Bad Seed.
Yeah, Bad Seed Cider Company. You guys are based out of New York City.
No, we're based out of
Brooklyn, or-
Highland, actually.
Are you?
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
I
yeah.
know that you get your apples from there, but
No,
I
no.
thought-
Our home main cidery and tap room and everything, and the place that we opened up is just across the river.
Yeah,
from
no, I
here.
know all that. I thought it was
We just opened up-
started in the city. I
No,
was
we-
confused.
I guess we got our start as a company in Highland, but we I guess had our first sales, and this again predates me being a part of the company. I
Right.
was still touring at the time, but the first sales I guess were in Brooklyn at farmers markets. Because Albert Wilklow is part of Wilklow Orchards, again like one of the big orchards across the
I
river.
fucking love
That's the one with
Yeah,
all the
Wilklow's
hills
the
that I
shit.
fucking hate. Yeah.
So
There's some
every
hills.
every single year, I go apple picking at Wilklow
Oh, cool.
Orchards. I prefer it because all of Brooks' brother, my wife's brother, and his couple of his friends, they come up and we take them apple picking,
Oh, cool.
and we take them there
Nice.
because it's a big pain in the ass for all the city people. Because it's
To walk
like
the
it's
hill?
just hills and stuff,
Yeah,
and
no,
it's not even just city people. Adam too. We took
Yeah. Well, the last time that I went, like I was working as a mechanic, so my back's killing me all the time. I had come off of an ankle injury a couple years before, so it's a nightmare for me. And
You
like
gotta man up to
they
pick
would,
apples on
they
that
would,
hill.
and it's just like I don't want any
Wilklow
part of
doesn't
this
fuck
at
around.
all.
Yeah.
And you're
It's-
like, why do you come? I was like, do you think this was my choice? Do you think I wanted to come here?
All right, so here's some actually breaking news that we haven't announced anywhere, and we also haven't totally put into fruition, and so I probably shouldn't say
Oh,
this, but
shit.
I still will.
Holy Santa Claus shit.
There you go.
It's
We're actually
a Dead Radio exclusive. the highlight of my day whenever I get to click that button.
We're actually going to put, so we just opened the Brooklyn tap room in October, and we're going to open a third location, a third satellite location, and actually put it at the base. So you don't even need to walk up the fucking hill anymore.
Yeah.
There'll be a Bad Seed third satellite location at the base level of Wilklow Orchards.
Oh,
So
very
next
cool.
time you
This
guys go
season.
apple picking, let me know.
And
I
you
will
don't even
ride,
have to go
I will
apple
ride
picking.
along with you.
Yeah.
I'll drink, and then I'll have a ride home.
Yeah.
It'll be
and
great.
And the thing is with Wilklow is, like you have to buy a bag to go up in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
orchard.
yeah.
With this, is actually going to be out front of where you have to buy the bag. So you can just literally come and drink and pretend like you went apple picking and not actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
sounds perfect.
Or do both or whatever.
Yeah.
But again, like you're drinking the cider from the apples that you either just picked or decided not to pick because you had too much to drink and just stayed at the base level.
Yeah, that's the coolest part about it. I'm like, once I found out you guys, like, I've had the dry a long time ago, and I've had it here and there ever since. But I don't know. It's not tricky to find for me, but sometimes it's like I don't know. I can find it at certain places, but it's not like widespread enough around here. I think
It's becoming more and more.
I'm not trying to put you on the spot.
No, totally. I mean, we're definitely. One of the big things that we've done this year is we've only then gone towards only distributing our dry to all the distributors that we have, which we're in 4 different states now. We're in New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
And it traditionally, like when we started, we were only doing like 750 milliliters and doing like wine bottle size cider.
Yeah, that's what I
and
remember.
doing bombers and shit like that. And then one of the big changes is just that we've now transitioned into doing pretty much only cans and then draft. And the biggest transition is that, like, we used to send out, like, our dry, the raspberry, the ginger, the IPC, which is our India Pale Cider, bourbon barrel cider. We had, like, 7 or 8 SKUs going out into market. And what we've realized now, like, we're best served by just sending out our flagship dry. And then everything else, because we have the 2 tap rooms and soon to be 3 tap rooms, like, everything else, if you want to try it, you have to come to us.
Yeah.
And so it's like we do 30 or 40 different ciders throughout the year. We do a bunch of barrel-aged ciders. We do a bunch of, like, weird Pineapple Express cider, Pina Colada cider. And, like, everything for the vast majority is still completely dry, like, fermented to full dryness. But the only thing that you're going to be able to find in stores is our dry, and it's kind of that same, like, Sierra Nevada model where it's, like, send out your flagship, send out your pale ale, send out the one thing that everybody kind of knows you as. And hopefully then that's, like, a gateway not only to craft cider but to specifically to dry cider.
Yeah.
Because we are the only and the first company in America to put a truly dry, sugar-free cider into a can.
Yeah, this is how I like cider. I have celiac, so I can't.
So does
I'm totally
my partner,
gluten free. Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Which one?
The farmer.
No kidding.
Yeah, the 6th-generation farmer from Wilklow, Albert. Is celiac.
Oh,
And
that's
actually,
right. Because
yeah.
they sell gluten free pastries and
Yep.
shit at the farmers
Yeah,
market. We always
exactly.
buy their muffins. They're
Yep.
delicious.
They are very delicious.
Well, that's good for me, too, because this isn't cheating on my keto diet.
Yeah.
This is no sugar.
I don't know what that is, but
Yeah.
it sounds
It's just
difficult.
it's no sugar, no
no,
carbs.
don't
That's
ask.
all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even going to tell you how many
Yeah.
carbs. Whatever.
It's going to be low-ish
Yeah.
compared to like a sweeter, like an Angry Orchard
Oh, totally.
piece of crap.
Well, there is no sugar, but I mean, there is.
Oh, it's going to have carbohydrates in it.
Well,
You got to list them.
total carbohydrates, 5
5
grams.
carbohydrates.
5
Yeah.
grams.
Yeah.
I could have 3 of these. That'd be fine.
Nice.
Well,
Yeah.
there's 3 of them right in front of
Yeah.
us.
I mean, I already had a beer, so I'm shot for
Oh,
this. It doesn't matter.
We should probably do
Yeah.
this now. It's What Are You Drinking? I feel like I have to explain myself sometimes when people come on the show that don't know me. I grew up listening to local radio and all that stuff, so I'm a big fan of hacky radio
Right.
bit stuff.
Drops and
That's
shit like that.
Drops
Yeah.
and oh yeah, I fucking love it.
Listen, I listen to the Michael K show, so I know all about drops.
Yeah. So we're drinking Bad Seed and only Bad Seed today. But right now we started with their flagship, which is the dry craft hard cider. And one of the things that when I tell people I'm gluten free and I can't have beer, they go, "Oh, so you into the ciders?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Should I say the name?"
I already said Angry Orchard.
Okay. They go, "Oh, so you like Angry Orchard?" And I'm like, not particularly, no. It's
Yeah.
too syrupy, too fucking sweet.
And their bone dry one kind of tastes like baby vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, man, that's just our opinion.
I'll say this much. So they hired this guy, Ryan Burke, who came on and is making some fantastic ciders. And he oversees the new spot that they just opened up in Walden. And the ciders that he makes of his own volition. I guess would be the way to say it. Like the ciders that he's really excited to make.
Mm-hmm.
The small batch stuff are amazing. Some of the best ciders I've ever had. They've won a bunch of competitions, and rightfully so. Like he is a fantastic, one of a kind cider maker. He's doing all this sort of Basque style cider and different things.
Basque.
Yeah,
as in like the Basque region of France.
Yeah, exactly. So like it's like has all this weird yeast in it, and it drinks and it's dry, and you're supposed to pour it from like up high. And he and I have definitely gotten drunk, and he's tried to like we've been like on
the fucking long pour.
Yeah, like the long pour that never works. Yeah, I mean, but you know, the trade-off is that he has to oversee the entirety of their catalog,
right?
Which, you know, obviously the things for which they have made the most money are not my favorite ciders, and
it's
just like
the one that tastes like a sour Jolly Rancher.
It's the crisp, the flavored ones,
and the bone dry. I mean, the funny thing is that the bone dry still has 7 grams of sugar in it, so it's still 7 times as sugary as our actual dry cider. But that being said, again, like, you know, that would be like Sierra Nevada talking shit about Budweiser or something, you know? And it's like, hey, man, people know about beer because they drink Budweiser. Like, people know about cider because they drank Angry Orchard. And just because I don't want to drink, you know, I do want to drink the stuff that he's making in Walden, but, you know, I'm not going out looking to, you know, drink the vast majority of what they're doing. But that also, at the same time, it introduced cider to an American public.
Yes.
And for that, like,
Absolutely.
there's no reason to ever hate on that. And more so than that, the fact that they then went out and hired the best of the best, this guy, Ryan, like, really, it says a lot about the direction that they want to go in. And I do feel like we are one of the only cider companies. Like, I see Ryan at events, and like a lot of the other sort of like hoity-toity cider manufacturers are like, oh, fuck that guy. Like, you know, he's a sellout. And I'm like, what are you talking? Like, dude, we should all be proud of him. Like, that dude's making a great living and doing what he cares about and making cider that's better than the shit that you guys are making. You know, like, when he sets his mind to it. And like, so he has to like oversee this massive empire of shit that's like paying him a good living. Like, dude, don't hate the player, you know?
Oh, we would sell out immediately if we could.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I'd take Budweiser as a fucking sponsor. I don't give a shit.
I'd wear the hat, the shoes. Give me a pair of nice patent leather Budweiser shoes. I'd wear those
it's not
every
even
fucking
just about
day
like
if they
wearing the
sponsor our
shoes. It's
shit.
like getting paid the Budweiser money from Budweiser. You know, like as a job. So like again, it's something that, but for us, like, you know, without it again, like a rising tide raises all boats, and the fact that even looking at Angry Orchard now, realizing that like, oh shit, we need to make a bone dry cider to compete with like us, or not to compete. Obviously, they're doing like much bigger numbers than we are.
They got to cover their bases.
But it's like, oh, people want dry cider, you know,
They
and
sure
so
do, man.
we are Bad Seed. We are the dry cider. We are the only company putting a truly dry cider into a can, you know?
I think the majority of people who are into ciders, like really into ciders, or even have to be into ciders, find their way past the sweeter stuff directly to the more drier, more complex tasting things.
Again, to go back to the beer analogy, like people who, you know, they're 16 and they, you know, crush a bunch of Coors Light, and then eventually they have a Sierra Nevada, and they're like, "Oh shit, what is this?"
That happened to us,
right? That's just, I grew up in California. This is the same thing that happened to me at that, you know, that age. Like, it's like, oh damn, this is good. I like this. You know, I had that same revelation with Bad Seed. Like I said, I was touring for a bunch of years, and I got off the road, and my wife was actually working farmers markets with Albert in the city, which again, kind of getting back to how we sort of got our start in Brooklyn, but not actually.
Okay.
And so my wife was working at the farmers markets for him, and when I got off the road, I needed money. I needed to, you know, I was completely fucking broke. Had no, had been a touring musician for 8 years, and musician.
It's forgivable.
Right, exactly. And started picking up shifts. Drank the cider. Had never been a cider drinker ever. Had been like an IPA drinker, you know, a little bit of wine, you know, whiskey, whatever. And drank the cider, and I was like, oh shit, I actually really like this. And that was my first interaction with Bad Seed, and I wish that that actually could still be our motto to a certain extent. Like, I wish that, like, on the can, we could
shit,
say,
I like this.
Oh shit, I actually really like this. Because again, like, we make cider for non-cider drinkers, and we make a product that people pick it up and they drink it. They're like, what the fuck? This is good.
Yeah, this.
Like, I thought that I wasn't gonna like it, but I do. And why do I like it?
This is more like a brut champagne kind of like.
Yeah, it tastes like an apple champagne.
Yeah,
exactly. And so, like, you know, to that extent. a lot of times as the cider market grows, like I said, we are the dry cider. We're waiting in the wings as people sort of like open their eyes to what cider can be. And that market is just beginning to open up, and people are just beginning to sort of like, in the same way that craft beer had this revolution, like, 15, 20 years ago or whatever, people are just beginning to get into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when all you could get was Sam Adams. That was like the best thing that you could get.
Well, I love that Sam Adams still like thinks that they're craft beer, but that's a whole
they
separate...
actually lobbied to change the laws to make them still be considered a craft beer company. They went from 500 barrels a year to like 50,000. To still be considered a craft brewery. Just that definition, just to be able to say that.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's very stupid.
What are you gonna do?
But what was I gonna say?
It's fitting though. Like, I was really excited to see when I first saw it that I was like, oh, it's over there in fucking Highland. Just having a local cidery that's using our apples, Hudson Valley, because we're surrounded by fucking apples here.
Yeah, totally.
Come.
And have been for forever. Too,
Yeah.
So.
Come fall, it's just that's all you get. Apple this, apple that.
Well, so again, I mean, shout out to the fact that we're now going to have two different places in Highland itself. One at the home farm, and then one obviously at our home.
Yeah. 43 Bailey's Gap Road.
43 Bailey's Gap Road. Yeah, that's true.
Well, what do you think of it?
What do you mean?
Because you played the What Are You Drinking?
Oh.
And then we just talked about.
I love it, man. I liked them when I first tried them, and I'm just reading the back of the can. Sauvignon Blanc yeast is used in this. Huh.
That's true.
Cool.
Small batches, then conditioned in the can. I did not know that part.
Yeah, so basically the entire process is grow the
canned.
apples, press the juice. The juice is pressed at the farm at Wicklow Orchards. We bring the juice over to the cidery on Bailey's Gap Road, and then put it in the fermentation tanks, add the Sauvignon Blanc yeast, ferment to full dryness, and then basically the big difference between us and a lot of other cider companies is that this is still unfiltered, but even if you look at it, like it's totally clean. It just looks like champagne, right?
You condition it in the can.
So
you don't.
Can condition,
okay, so do you add like a primer to get it to carbonate?
Sort of. There's a conditioning yeast that we add. Yeah. So what happens is that I was about to say, the biggest difference between us and like Down East or some other companies is that we age our cider for bare minimum 4 months. And a lot of other cider companies that are like unfiltered, it's like, oh, you got to shake the can. There's going to be some residue, this and that. It's like the motherfuckers only aged it for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you have to shake the can because they didn't age it properly.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
And like, so with us, like, you can obviously age all the sediments out. You just have to give it time and just let it sit, right? So we let it age for about 4 months, and we pump it into this big holding tank that we have. We have a 2,000-gallon holding tank. We have our own canning line that we just bought. And then that's when, right before we can, so like the day or two before, add the conditioning yeast, and then it actually will kickstart a secondary fermentation, which will take it completely down to 0 gram sugar. So when we're canning the cider itself, it's actually a still cider. It's not carbonated at all. Yeah. And then what we'll do like 1,000 gallons equals about 4.5 pallets. Pallet is 100 cases each. Each case has 24 cans. So it's a shit ton of cans.
So that's like 40 million cans.
It's like 11,000
cans.
It's
exactly 40 million cans.
It's either 11,150 or 40 million. One of the two. And then we put it in the priming room where we keep the heat on, and then like keep it at like 78, 80 degrees-ish or so. And then that will, again, like further along that secondary fermentation that's been kickstarted in the can itself. And so when you first do it, it's loose, like if you're feeling the can, and then over a week and a half, a week or so, it'll go rock solid, and then it's ready to ship out.
Yeah, depending on the yeast, those high temperatures just get it going.
But that we were using a Sauvignon Blanc yeast to try to can condition it, but it was taking like a month, and like we had a batch
that something heavy
that
duty.
didn't work, and then we had to like put that cider aside, and couldn't send it out, and so we found Devin. I hope I'm not like spilling all the company secrets, but Devin found like a nice conditioning yeast that we've been using for the last year or so. That's been doing really well.
Yeah, they've come out with some. Well, not come out. I mean, it's genetically modified, but not through like gene splicing or any horrible things. Yeah, they breed strains that are really good at handling high alcohol and stuff like that, and that's how they're getting like naturally fermented beers that aren't. They're like 30% alcohol, and it's all done right in the barrel. It's not distilled.
Crazy.
It's like normally it would be like 2%.
Well, they used to do to get those high alcohol beers. They used to freeze them and pull the ice off.
Right.
And
We've
the
done that
alcohol would
just
stay.
for ourselves. We've
Yeah.
done that. I mean, we can't sell it because we can't sell anything that's above 8.5%
Yeah.
legally without having to. And actually, I don't know if I. Yeah. We experimented with some stuff, but just for ourselves.
It's research and development. What are you supposed to do?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
again,
as long
you
as
just
you
leave it
don't sell it.
outside in the
Yeah.
winter and like slough off the ice.
My dad
and-
used to do hard cider when I was a kid because I guess his uncle used to do it and he taught him how to do it, and that was how he got the higher alcohol percentage because just apple juice you're not really going to usually get above 8 or 9% anyway.
Yeah.
So freezing out the water,
Well,
and he'd get it up to like probably 20-25%.
Nice.
It tastes like
25,
tastes
30%,
like
something
booze.
like. Well, I mean, it's Applejack. I mean, that is what Applejack is, or like homemade Applejack.
Yeah.
We've had a couple just again in-house, not selling it to public like parties where we're like, hey, let's see what this does, and it's like, oh shit, that's really strong.
That might be a cool thing if you could figure out a way to get the license to do that. Just
Yeah,
that'd be a
you
first.
I mean,
right?
down-
What would you need? Like a liquor license?
You need a distillery license, yeah.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Wow.
But again, like
sucks.
with New York State has instituted a bunch of new farm cidery, farm brewery, farm winery, farm distillery licenses, which is actually how we were able to open up. Like I said, we just opened the first ever actually cider tap room in Brooklyn. We did it under the auspices of our existing farm cidery license. And so because we have our farm cidery license for the home farm, we were able to open up legally up to 5 satellite locations anywhere in New York State without having to go through the city itself. So we actually went through the agriculture department, ag and markets department on the state level, and we opened up, like I said, the first ever cider tap room in Brooklyn in Crown Heights.
That's
just now.
awesome.
Yeah,
I had heard about that
Franklin
somewhere.
Avenue.
I don't know if we talked about it on the show or not.
I don't know.
That New York State opened up all these laws just for
They got
the
a lot
farming
of
industry
weird-
here.
A lot of weird shit, like
It's all leftover
like
stuff.
and like the beer stuff is even weirder sometimes because like if you're gonna become a brand that sells retail, but you start off as a brew pub, you can't have satellite locations. You can only have the one. Because I was hearing that because Millhouse was trying to do a second location in Beacon, and they can't.
Right.
All they can do is do something with a similar name that's a different LLC and distribute their own beer to their own brew pub, but they can't brew anything there, and it can't be called Millhouse.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Very
like
strange.
I'm not the
Yeah.
lawyer, so
Yeah.
like I could refer any of these questions to
You have a
our lawyer.
microphone in front of your face, so you're always right. Always right. That's how it works.
But
Prove me wrong in an email, and then I won't bring it up on the next show.
And I will not read the email. But no, it's been amazing, man. I mean, shouts to New York for really doubling down and really, investing in New York State industries and small businesses and stuff like that. I mean, again, so the tap room that we just opened up in Brooklyn is called Bad Seed Brooklyn, and like I said, it's the first ever satellite cider tap room or satellite any tap room to be opened in New York City by any supplier that was like located outside the city. So we were the first people to like take the plunge and see like, all right, how do these laws work? They just got passed. What is it going to mean for us to open a place in Brooklyn? And because, again, getting back to like, we didn't actually start in Brooklyn, but we have this heavy presence in Brooklyn from selling at the farmers markets. We do have a huge, we're in a bunch of the Whole Foods down there. We're in a bunch of, retail and we have like a large presence in the city already. And so it just made sense for us to have a brick and mortar place where not only we could have a bar basically for, for all intents and purposes, but then also we can do package sales as well of our dry cider, the raspberry, the ginger, like all the 750 bottles that we still have on hand. And so we have 12 different taps of Bad Seed cider, and then we have 8 rotating taps of New York State craft beer, because we're allowed to legally sell any other company's product that they have their New York State craft brewery, craft cidery, craft winery license. And so we have like Chatham and Arrowwood and Queens Brewery and like all these smaller kind of
so fucking
people.
cool.
And so
That's
like
awesome.
just by nature of the rules themselves that New York State and Cuomo and all these people have instituted, we're just by nature, we are a New York State craft beer, wine, and cider bar. And we can sell packaged liquor, but we can't do mixed drinks just because of the laws. So we're selling like awesome, weird, small batch, bourbon from the Hudson Valley, and we have all this shit that nobody else has.
Can you just buy a bottle and open it and sit at the bar?
No. You can buy a bottle and go home and open it and sit in your house. Which I'm sure plenty of people do.
That's awesome, though. I noticed that at in Marlboro, the Falcon.
Yeah.
All they have at the Falcon Underground is only New York.
Yeah.
stuff.
They actually just took a. They're gonna have a permanent Bad Seed line down there.
Good.
In the
Good for you.
downstairs. Yeah.
Awesome.
We just delivered the first cake to them. So.
Fantastic. Man.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing all the like weird small batch stuff that we do in our own tap room. We're just gonna be like hooking them up with because we still have the right to self-distribute all the weird small batch stuff that we do, but we just only do it with like certain choice accounts.
Right.
And again, being a musician, like I know Tony, like I know all those guys. I know his son Lee is a great drummer.
That place is fucking.
Yeah, those guys are killing it.
we only been there once.
I actually was thinking about going there tonight because Amy Helm is doing like a Monday residency. Levon Helm's daughter.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, she's doing Monday tonight, next week, and then the week after that. They're doing like, it's cool, man. They're doing this weird tour where it's like she's playing every Monday at the Falcon for 3 weeks. Then she's playing every Tuesday at Rockwood 2 for 3 weeks. And then every Wednesday she's playing in fucking Kingston or Albany or something like that. They're doing, and it's like, and then it's just like rotating where it's like 4 different venues, 4 different towns, but they're doing the same 4 nights, like 3 weeks in a row.
That's interesting.
You know, type thing. Yeah,
that's cool. We went there the first time. It was for Ryan's birthday, right?
Yeah, it was like a month, and it was in February.
Yeah, it was in February.
Yeah, and they have our cans upstairs too.
I had never been there before, and the underground, the top room was amazing, but the underground was more my speed. You know? I love that. It was wonderful. And once I found out everything was New York,
and I only spent $150.
I did. Fine.
I spent. It was a good half my paycheck. It was a lot, but I was also like, yeah, I want that mead, and I want that bourbon, and I want that beer, and just give them all to me right now.
Yeah, we just dropped off. What did we drop off? We dropped off a ginger peach like dry cider.
Ooh.
And they're gonna have a rotating like any whatever weird stuff that we bring to them, basically.
Cool. You guys do a lot of like weird brewing, or
we do, yeah. So again, like I said, we're only sending the dry out to our distributors, but we have the 2 tap rooms, and in Brooklyn there's 12 taps, and when both bars are open in Highland, there's 14 taps of cider available.
Jesus.
So like between the two, obviously there's going to be overlap. Like there's going to be dry is always going to be on. Raspberry will usually probably be on. But you know, we're running through a bunch of stuff. And we'll, you know, the cool thing is, you know, there's very distinct job titles where basically Albert is the farmer, Devin is the fermentation master, and then I came on as like everything else, like director, sales and marketing, doing podcast and whatever the fuck, you know, like just being the guy who goes and talks about it and sells. And we just actually hired our first ever sales rep down in New York, so we're expanding. We're in the process of talking to expanding like throughout the rest of New York State and a couple different states as well. And it's going really well. Yeah. But as far as like the weird small batch stuff that we're doing, we are able to, I mean, we have to keep up with our tap rooms because we're doing such crazy numbers in the different tap rooms that it's, you know, we're doing a bunch of barrel aged stuff. We have a cognac barrel aged cider. We have a bourbon barrel aged cider. We had a blueberry barrel aged cider. Like we have just all sorts of crazy stuff.
No, that's great, man.
Yeah.
Like we went to, for my last hurrah, when I found out I had celiac, we went to, Delaware to Dogfish Head Brewery. It's like my favorite brewery, and it's on Rehoboth Beach. And
I played there actually when I was touring.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we got to play some
at the bar.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
I love that. It's such a cool place.
Yeah. We got to go back.
We certainly do.
I mean, you can just like eat and not drink.
It'll be fun.
But don't eat any bread.
Oh, but they make booze too.
Yeah, so
yeah, they're doing all their own.
They do booze.
Cool.
Yeah,
but the coolest thing about it was going there and seeing all the stuff on tap that you can't get.
Right.
You'll never see it in the store. If you do see it in the store, it's gonna be like super limited release, or just never sees the light of day.
A bottle.
Dude,
yeah,
I went
into a
into
raspberry mint stout when I was there. It was not good.
I went into a deli in Midtown. I was on a work with one of our reps from our distributor in Manhattan, and there was a fucking 4-pack of some limited release Dogfish Head stuff, and they were selling it for $99 for the 4-pack. Or like $100. It was like $99, $105 or something. I was like, what the fuck?
They had aged bottles there that were like $20, $30 for like a 12-ounce bottle.
Wow.
And then like some guy when I was there he took an aged bottle of the 120 and an aged bottle of the Worldwide Stout. And he made a black and tan with it.
This is $60 beer.
It was just it was like
that's when you have fuck you money.
Yeah.
You're like, watch what I'm doing.
That's exactly what I would do.
Yeah.
If I was a millionaire, I would be doing that exactly.
He did that, and the 120 is 12%, and the Worldwide Stout's like 13 or 14% or some ridiculous number like that. So that guy was fucking flat on his ass. I didn't see it happen, but he had to be fucked for the rest of the day. And he's just drinking it out of a snifter. was like, ah, fuck you, man.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we could do with more of those customers at our tap rooms.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
They don't
We
hurt
actually-
business.
we had
That
somebody-
guy can do that. He can have like 12 of these.
Yeah. Dude, we had somebody come in actually. My GM down at the bar in Brooklyn. He texted me. He's like, "Hey man, you got?" Because I was down in the city. My wife actually had a album release show on Friday that I was down. I played and it was awesome. But he's like, "Hey, you gonna be around?" It was like Saturday night. Super late. He texted me. He's like, "You gonna be around tonight or tomorrow by any chance? Do you have any cider on you?" I was like, "No, man. I just come back." I was like, "I'm not here. What happened?" He's like, "Yeah, some dude just came in and bought every single can of dry cider that we had in the bar.
Whoa.
He bought like flats and left. And so I think if you're listening to this before we restock on Wednesday, there is no dry cider cans. I mean, there's plenty of dry cider on draft, but it's just like, yeah, just some people just don't care, man. They just walk in, they're like, I want this, and I'm going to take it. And I have the money to pay for it, and I have a car waiting for me or an Uber or whatever, and I'm going to like load, 10 flats into this car right now. And you're like, all right, fuck, man. Good luck.
Wow. Was he...
I don't know.
No, you have
Yeah,
no
I
other
don't know who it
details?
was.
See, they're just drinking all day, talking shit, and then finally they're like, I'll buy this whole fucking place. Just show me the door. I'll buy it.
Yeah, that or our GM was just like, yeah, somebody bought all these cans. I'm going to look on the camera. It's like, yeah, take it and run.
Where's that bottle opener?
Yeah, I just
Adam.
opened the ginger.
Yeah, see.
Are you going to hit the little thing about what are you drinking now?
No, it's just once.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, when we first got that bumper, we used it every time.
And then it was like, oh, wait, we shouldn't tell people how much we're drinking while we record this?
Well, they can see it.
Right.
Sure
But we had Long Trail rep in here one time, and he couldn't have any of it. So I had 20 beers in like 2.5, 3 hours. I was dead. I had to walk my skateboard home. I made it halfway down the road, and I was like, this is just dangerous. And I just started walking. But this is fantastic. This
the
is
ginger
like,
is nice.
Yeah, it's like ginger beer level ginger.
What's up?
You hear that buzzing? Is
Could
that
be
just
Could be your phone.
Maybe?
Yeah, there's a little buzzing.
It's not coming through.
Okay, cool.
It's not. It's
what'd you
just
get?
in your
You were
head.
getting that digital thing? Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was asking if I had to put it on.
Yeah,
airplane mode,
the cell phones kind of like
yeah.
if I put mine here and something comes through, it
well, it's
messes.
also right on
yeah,
top of it. Yeah, totally.
yeah. So they
next-
can't hear it, but now they know it happened.
Now they know it
so.
happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next is a Faraday cage around this place.
Welcome
but that's
behind
later.
the veil, behind the curtain.
Behind the veil.
There it is. Yeah.
Well, we do
You're
this.
just gonna play all your bumpers.
Sure.
Is my volume up?
Hi.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Jesus. This is great. This tastes like a really good ginger beer.
Yeah.
On top of that.
Yeah.
The ginger roots. Jesus
I want to
Christ.
use
this is like spicy ginger.
I want to
It's
mix
good, man.
this with that rum that I got.
Yeah, so we actually had a lot of clients or customers actually buy the ginger cider just to be able to put it in like Moscow mules, or Dark and Stormies or whatever.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
to just
And
have
actually,
alcoholic
I
mixers.
brought this for you. This is actually some of the last bottles of ginger that exist.
Oh yeah.
Because everything, the next batch that we do, it's all going to be in kegs, and we're again only going to have it at our tap room.
Yeah.
Ah.
All right.
So why was this bottled? Just for just for a
'Cause
special
we
edition
thought we
kind
could
of thing?
sell a lot of it, and we did, but then we kind of switched course and decided only to send dry out. We really we've only done a couple things in package, and in the future we're still only going to do cans.
It's better for the it's better for the
cider.
The cider,
yeah,
right?
so if there's no UV radiation or infiltration.
Well,
at
I know
all.
I know it's better for beers for brown bottle or in
Yeah.
cans,
it's
but
also
it's
better
probably
for the
especially
environment
better.
Yeah.
It's probably especially better for cider. Is
Yeah.
it like the
Yeah.
oxidation?
I mean, do you guys do hop cider?
We do, yeah. So
Yeah.
we have an IPC, which is the India Pale Cider.
Mhm.
We ferment it with an American ale yeast, and then we dry hopped it with Cascade hops. And we are actually one of the 2017 Good Food Awards finalists for Cider of the Year for that one.
Yeah, that
Which
sounds
actually I
awesome.
didn't have any on hand. That was like the fourth one that I would have brought. So like basically the three that you guys are gonna drink tonight. There's the dry, the ginger roots, the raspberry, and then the fourth would be the IPC. Those are like our four kind of main ciders, and then everything else we do is like much more small batch, much more barrel aged, whatever. And then we used to send out the IPC and the ginger to a couple different distributors, and like I think our distributor in Pennsylvania still has some of the ginger, but they're almost out of it. And then when they run out, like they're just gonna have the dry.
Just gonna be the dry.
Which is cool, man. It's like again, like I like knowing where we are in the market and not trying to like obfuscate what we do, which is like we are the dry cider. And the ginger is awesome, but it's you need to come to our tap room.
Yeah, if you try and spread yourself too thin and have too many different things, the quality really can go down too.
Well, it's not it's not even the quality. It's more like what's the bandwidth of how the reps and all the distributors that you're working with can learn how to properly sell your brand. You know, if you have like 8 SKUs and they don't actually really know that much about any of them, you know, it's going to suffer, and you're going to get some placements right at the beginning. But then if there's no pull through and the rep doesn't know how to sell it, then you're fucked. With us, it's like we're the dry cider. We are the driest cider you have. That's all we're doing. You have 1 SKU to sell. Go sell it. It's going to be awesome. You know, like we are setting the bar on like what that means to be a dry cider in a can. Not only for all our distributors, but also just like in the market, wherever we are. So it's good, man. I think like, you know, too many companies, too many other suppliers, like, you know, they're all about here's our winter release, or here's our fall special pumpkin thing, or here's our, you know, and we still do like a lot of weird, you know, not seasonal releases so much, but we do a lot of, you know, smaller batch stuff, like I said, but we're not trying to like push that on the market.
Well, that also, I mean, it's going to drive people to your tap room because they're going to know that if I go back next month, there's going to be something different.
Well, not even next month. It's like next week, next day. I mean, we're running through cider so fast at these tap rooms right now that it's like the lineup is going to changes from day to day as we kick kegs, and then we just like put new stuff on, you know? So, yeah, it's fun.
It's fucking awesome. I gotta stop by now.
Speaking of that, we're probably gonna start carrying you guys a crafted cup.
Cool.
Oh yeah, that's right. We are doing a tasting.
Yeah. I'm trying to change things up. Like I'm not really in charge of anything. I'm just like I'm very passionate about beer, and cider and mead and all these different things.
And liquor.
Yeah, and liquor. Anything with alcohol in it.
Yeah, if it's fermented or not fermented. If it's distilled. Fermented and distilled, whatever. I don't fucking know.
Anyway, so like we've been selling beer. We've been selling beer for a couple of years, but it really hasn't been selling that well. We're a coffee shop, but we put mead on the menu because we knew the guys from Salt Point Meadery that came on the show, and it kind of blew up. Like we sold a case in like a week, and that's like
we're smashing through
crazy amount for like the volume of beer that we were doing.
Right.
You know, it would take us a month to kick a keg. So I think cider is going to do
or half barrel?
Sixtel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that cider is going to do really well because we're right by Vassar College.
Oh, cool.
So I think that having a cider on tap, a lot of people are gluten free. That's what I was going to say before. You guys are in the right business because I heard a study that like 20% of people are going to be gluten intolerant in like 50 years.
Get the fuck out of here.
You're
what they think.
Forebear of our future children. Or whatever.
Seriously,
fucking patient.
You're like a future human.
I came into celiac. I found celiac when it was actually kind of
rare.
When it was rare, but all the products, breads, and this and that started flowing. Like everything started coming out. I only had to wait like a year or two before I was actually comfortable buying stuff and being able to, you know, this and that. But
how long have you known now?
Oh, God damn it.
What was the testing process like, too? It was like a blood test? Or?
Yeah, it was a blood test, and I've told the story before on the show. I had to do it, like, they ordered a blood test and a stool sample.
Right.
The stool sample was fun. I don't know if you want to hear the story. I'll tell the story. I don't give a shit, but no pun intended.
Dead Radio presents a shit story.
It's been at least 2 years since he told the story on the show. So
I've also never heard this story. So.
Yeah.
I'll
you guys' drops are hella long.
I already faded it
down.
So I went in. I originally had like severe stomach pain.
And again, this is how long ago?
11 years ago.
No, it wasn't
not
11.
That much?
It was like, I want to say it was probably 7 or 8, something like that. And I was having severe stomach pains.
Yeah, he texts me. He goes, "This is when I had a smartphone and he refused to get one."
Yeah.
And he texts me, "What are the symptoms of appendicitis?" And I just said, "Go to the hospital."
I was in Texas, and we were going to this sandwich place every day, and it was delicious. It was a great sandwich shop, and I was just taking bread to the face
Where in
every
Texas?
day. In Las Colinas, this is a little like suburb outside of Dallas, and the last job I used to do, I used to build radio stations.
Ah.
So we were down there on a job, and I just one day I was getting these crazy stomach cramps, but like way down, like intestines cramping up and everything, and I trying to figure out what the deal was, and then it lasted for hours and hours, and then subsided, and it was just like just stinging pain here and there, but not like it was agony. I was lying on the floor.
Right.
It went away. I come back from that job, and it happens again on my way to work. Like I was at work and I had to go back home. It used to take me an hour to get to work.
Jesus.
It took me 2 hours to get back home because I kept having to pull over because
Right.
it's just such blinding pain. I went to the emergency room. They said I have a massive infection. They tell me to go to a GI doctor. I go to the GI doctor. She says, she doesn't tell me anything. She's like, we need a blood test and a stool sample. I was like, oh, fan-fucking-tastic, a stool sample. And so they give you these little jars with like spoons and stuff and solution in it. So like you take a dump and you just spoon it in. It's not a big deal. Like I was like, all right, this is pretty simple. And they give you a little like biohazard bag and everything like that. So it's like getting down to the wire. I need to do it. And I've just been putting it off because I'm just like, this is going to fucking suck. This is just going to suck. So how the fuck am I? All right, so I get set up in the thing, and I'm like, well, how the fuck am I going to collect my shit? I can't, like, shit in a Tupperware bowl or, like, something like that. So I figure, all right, I get a garbage bag, like a black garbage bag, and I put it in my bathtub. And I strip down naked just so I don't get my clothes, don't touch it or anything, and I squat down in the bathtub, and I shit in the bathtub. And what I fucking didn't think to do, or I didn't think about, was how much the water in the toilet bowl kind of holds the smell in. It hit me like a fucking freight train. I almost slipped and passed out in the bathtub. I like ran out. I took a shit. I was like, ah! I ran out. I got a bandana. The first thing I could find is a bandana, so I wrapped that around my face. This is my
This is basically like you reenacting the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put the bandana around my, and it was a red one, so it looked like I was robbing a bank. So it's around my head. I'm naked.
Robbing the feces bank.
I'm naked, and I'm spooning this shit into these jars. And, you know, like I just wrapped up the bag. That wasn't a big deal. So I'm putting the stuff in the bag. I take the bag. I grab the bag and the biohazard bag full of all my stuff. I go to pick it up, and it rips, and they fall all over the fucking floor. They didn't, like, crack or break open. I always tell the story. I'm like, I got shit in my mouth. I didn't. But the bag broke. So now I got this, like, half-assed biohazard bag that I do need to deliver these in, and it's just ripped
just
and
legally.
it's just shredded.
Yeah.
So now the
Can,
next
like,
day,
tape it up or something?
I'm at Health Quest or whatever the hell, and I got this bag, but I'm holding it like this, like a.
Are
like
you
a
still in
football.
like physical discomfort too?
No, that's upset. They gave me like antibiotics and everything
Okay.
like that. So I turn in the stool samples. I'm online waiting. It's just like it's straight out of a fucking movie. I swear to God. I tell this story and I still think like it sounds like I'm full of shit. I'm not full of shit. There was like this older nurse. She was probably
no
in her
longer
like
full of shit,
50s.
that's true.
She's probably in her 50s, and I'm like online. The guy ahead of me goes, and then she goes, "All right, I'm gonna go. All right, I'm going on break." She says to someone over her shoulder. She stands up and she leaves, and it sits down like beautiful mid-20s blonde girl. I'm like, oh great, here's all of my shit in this ripped up bag. Enjoy, with like my nervous handwriting when I was like trying to nervously write all the information down. Like
You're like, oh, I hope this doesn't turn you off from liking me. She's like, oh, I wouldn't have in the first place.
So I leave. I go back to the doctor, and she's like, all your test results are in. She's like, your blood tested positive for celiac. I'm like,
oh, I didn't need.
Son of a bitch. I'm like, what about the stool sample? She goes, oh, we didn't need it.
I have yet to have. I think I've yet to ever had to deliver a stool sample to somebody.
I wanted to 300 kick her out the window of the hospital when she said that. I was like, "Fuck you, lady. Fuck you." I wish I had video so I could just spam your email every day. Video of me having to do this.
I wish we had video of that too. Just picture him crouched naked with a red bandana on, and he's crouched down like Smeagol, spooning fucking poop into a cup.
I mean, listen, if there's one thing I'm going to leave this interview with, it's going to be the vision of that.
Yeah.
So, thank you for that. Yeah, that's very special. In Texas.
And that's what led me
in
to
a suburb of Dallas.
And that's what led me to cider.
Yeah.
No, I was like that.
Yeah, that was back home.
Shitting in a bathtub led me to
So
hard
listen,
apple cider.
The reason that I really enjoy your cider is one time I was wearing a red bandana and I felt like Smeagol and I was shitting in a bathtub. What are your thoughts on that?
Smeagol shitting in a bathtub. Well,
yeah, so I don't remember what we were talking about before then, but that's the story.
Well, we're at 50 minutes, so let's take a quick break. I'm going to polish off this ginger roots, and then we'll switch to the raspberry, and we'll take a quick break.
Did you want to plug some stuff?
Yeah, I was thinking about what to plug first.
You look like you hurt yourself.
let's do Bad Seed first. It's Bad Seed Cider. You guys are at 43 Bailey's Gap Road. That is where the tap room is in Highland. Also, check out badseedhardcider.com, facebook.com/badseedcider, and at Bad Seed Cider on Instagram.
And Twitter, too.
Oh, yeah, and Twitter. Well,
it's all the same. Yeah,
we're we're very anti-Twitter.
Twitter's an echo chamber of sadness and despair, so I'm fine with,
We use it, but it's just linked automatically to Instagram and Facebook, so anytime we post something, it just goes up.
I didn't even download it to my phone.
Yeah.
I got a new phone. I didn't even bother downloading the app. I never use it.
Smart.
I just don't fucking care.
Fuck Twitter.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Jack.
So
just say,
also,
you, Jack.
Bad Seed Cider will be doing a tasting at the Crafted Cup on April 20th, 44 Raymond Avenue in Poughkeepsie. It's going to be from 6 to 8. We're going to have live music by Cornbread.
So I haven't looked up Cornbread yet. What is Cornbread?
He's
very
new.
Yeah, he's a singer-songwriter. He's a Vassar student, so we got him cheap.
He's a baby.
Yeah.
He's very into
Can he drink my cider?
Yes.
Yes. He's 21.
Wow.
He's very into
Welcome into adulthood, Cornbread.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Shaky Graves.
I have. Actually, all right. So the band I used to play with, our agent actually booked Shaky Graves as well. We did a bunch of shows with him.
Oh,
cool.
my
did,
God.
He's going to love talking
He's
about
gonna
that.
blow you in the bathroom.
Cornbread?
Yeah.
Yes, he is. He fucking loves
Cornbread. For the record, I
Graves.
do not want you to blow me in the bathroom.
So
I don't know Shaky Graves that well. I'm going to back off that statement.
So yeah, it's going to be singer-songwritery acoustic stuff, a little bit of a blues lilt
Is
to
he
it.
playing
it's
like
like
a
America-
tambourine with his foot and like singing unintelligible lyrics?
There is a video if you go to the event page on Facebook. There's a 1-minute video that's the banner, so you can watch that or check Crafted Cup's Instagram. So it's at the Crafted Cup with a K.
You guys are also doing a spring comedy show on May 5th.
We are doing that, yeah.
It's a fundraiser to benefit Book Buddies, a nonprofit organization that gives adult volunteers the opportunity to read one-on-one with elementary school children in school.
We're also actually, for the record, while I'm here, we're doing a crazy event with Brooklyn Brewery down in Brooklyn. If anybody is in Brooklyn listening to this, this Friday and Saturday, the 13th and the 14th, there's one session, I think, from 6 to 10 on Friday, and then there's 2 different sessions on Saturday. And they invited only 5 suppliers or other companies. It's myself, Bad Seed, and my buddy Kuzmi at Fifth Hammer, and then Captain Lawrence, I think, is going to be there, and a couple different other beer companies that I'm not sure. But we're the only
Fifth
cider
Hammer.
company.
Mm.
Fifth
like
Hammer,
that name.
you should get Kuzmi on here. Actually, he does a podcast called Ferment About It. You heard of that?
No.
Yeah, you
but
should
I'm
check it out.
subscribing right
yeah.
now. Also, mention your podcast.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're.
I do a sports podcast. It's not a whole lot of crossover with this, but I'm one of the I'm the associate editor at Golden State of Mind, which is a Warriors site. Which I know everybody hates the fucking Warriors right now, but I am from California and I'm a lifelong Golden State Warriors fan, leading back to the time when they sucked.
They were bad.
They really sucked, and it was
long.
It was actually so much easier to be a Warriors fan back then because all you motherfuckers didn't care, and now you do, and.
Yeah, everybody hates the Warriors now, but they were just like, oh, the Warriors.
Yeah, it's like, oh, yeah, the Joe Smith draft and the fucking PJ Carlissimo got choked situation. And anyways, yeah, I'm one of the main editors and hosts of Golden State of Mindcast, which you can find on iTunes and Stitcher and wherever the fuck you get your podcasts.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, we'll do some...
I will subscribe, but I can't promise that I will listen because I don't like sports at all.
Well, there you go.
But the subscriber is the only thing you need because it
I'll
automatically downloads to my phone and that gives you numbers. So I hope you'll subscribe to our podcast and then we don't care if you listen.
I'll give you guys a shout out on the podcast. Yeah, you get a bunch of like rando people in the West Coast and then also like the Philippines for whatever reason. So
we got people in the Philippines.
It's crazy,
too.
right?
Yeah.
It's
love podcasts out there.
Yeah.
And Facebook.
We just have this. We have we look at the map on what the fuck are we on now? Libsyn.
Yeah.
And it's all North America, and then this one little blip in the Philippines.
Yeah, we're on.
They love
Megaphone
podcasts
now, so.
and ladyboys. Weird. All right, so we're gonna do some. We're gonna take a break. We're gonna do some urine.
Yeah.
I gotta pee. So we'll be back in a little bit. This is Babe Patrol for now. Just a mix.
Sure. We haven't played it in a while.
We'll be right back.
Well, will this be over? This is happening. Hi, this is Dave Kurlander from K9 Tactics, and you're listening to Dead Podcast Radio. Oh, fuck. Hi, this is Dave Kurlander. I don't even know where the fuck I'm from. This is going to take a while. All right, I got this now. Hi, this is Dave Kurlander from K9 Tactics, and you're listening to Dead Radio Podcast. Done. Don't ask me to do it again.
Secrets are no fun.
Inside based. All that.
All right, we're back. After using the facilities and then talking shop about podcasts and everything like that.
More like talking shit about podcasts.
Yeah, Jesus. It's a fucking thankless job.
Yeah.
It's a
it really
thankless
is.
thing,
It's
man.
just, but you just gotta.
You gotta just enjoy it.
Plugging
that's all.
away. Keep plugging away.
I mean, podcasts are fun, man. I enjoy them because you can say whatever the fuck you want, and probably nobody's listening, and then it's great, and you can just.
And even if they are,
Yeah.
you can just say, "Well, I do what I feel like, and I don't care. I don't use Twitter, so you can do whatever you say, whatever you want about me, and I'm not going to see it."
I just hope to see that podcast. Well, I mean, I don't double-edged kind of thing, but like I know a lot of guys who still work in the radio business and everything like that, and I don't wish them ill will. It's not their fault the way the industry went, but I'd like to see podcasting replace radio, because it's not.
Well, it's kind of just like on-demand radio. I mean, for example, so I drive a lot for my job.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I oversee 4 different states worth of accounts that we have for Bad Seed, and I have the company van, which is parked right outside here.
Yeah, it's hard to miss.
Yeah.
I was when you pulled up, I said, "Hey, Brooke, I think the Bad Seed people are here. I'm not quite sure.
Not totally sure, but that giant van that says Bad Seed Cider, the dry cider,
all the fuck over it.
Yeah,
it's like Ricky Bobby's car in Talladega Nights.
He sold ad space
Listen,
on
man,
the windshield.
if you're not first, you're last. You know. But no, so I drive a lot, and the funny thing is, I actually. Sometimes I'll fuck around and like try to listen to, for example, if I'm going down to Philly or going down to like South Jersey or like some places where I don't know what the radio stations are, like I'll just press skip until I find something that's either like so appalling that it's amazing or like or it's like sports radio and they're like so obsessed with the Eagles that it's hilarious, or something.
They love the Eagles.
They really, with good reason right now. But the vast majority of the time I'm listening to a lot of sports podcasts, but just any podcast. And I do think that the arena of podcasts, like, obviously is a little bit oversaturated and overwhelmed by the amount of people, much like both yours and my podcast are jumping into that. But at the same time, there still is space for that because people can consume it on their own time. Mm-hmm. And it's the same thing like with Netflix. It's like, yeah, there's way too many fucking Netflix original shows, but there's just enough if you look at the fact that like somebody's gonna find the one that is for them, and then they can watch it at their own speed. They don't have to be like, oh shit, I gotta make myself available at Sunday night at 8 p.m.
That shit's gonna go away forever.
Yeah, it almost is.
Yeah, it's just because everyone has the like unspoken rule now where you don't talk about Walking Dead when you get to work until it's been a week. You know what I mean? Like, everybody's cool with that now because it's everybody. It's not just, like, I was one of the first people to adopt TiVo, and I fucking loved it. And,
that shit was nuts.
Is TiVo still happening?
No,
probably not, right?
I think they do still have. I thought they still have like boxes and stuff, but it's not like they pivoted. They don't.
When he got fucking TiVo, that was the wildest shit I'd ever seen in my life. Like, we were watching a show, and then all of a sudden in the bottom corner, it's just like, what did it say? Terminator 2 is starting in 10 minutes on such and such channel.
It would learn what you like, and I don't know why they got rid of that.
Much like the Terminators.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. But it would.
Like,
it would
hell yeah!
I said to him, I was like, he was like, you should check out this show. I was like, the TiVo tells me what I like.
Yeah, constantly.
It's like getting married.
Yeah,
TiVo
it's like
tells
suddenly
me what
it's
to
like
watch.
no, the wife will tell me like what. Yeah,
and then that kind of went away, which I get. I mean, it kind of had to, but the on-demand thing, I really don't. I don't see traditional television lasting either. I think it'll always be there, and they'll always be playing stuff because people have DVRs and whatever. But you look at the original content, like HBO original content, they spend X amount of billions of dollars and their profit is X amount. Netflix spends twice what HBO does and makes back half as much, but they're a more profitable company. You know what I mean? Because they have less overhead, less people, less advertising, less infrastructure. So
well,
I think
they don't advertise.
Yeah, that's the yeah, they don't advertise.
They're like PBR.
Yeah,
they're just like we're good, and you're.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, not the PBR is good, but like it's like you will consume us.
Yeah,
and you will come to us for
PBR
your
is my
needs.
go-to when I don't want to get too drunk.
Yeah, Netflix is your go-to when you don't have other shit to do. Dude,
Right.
I was just fucking hanging at my house watching Netflix right before I came here. I was watching.
What were you
this
watching?
Horrible / hilarious / awesome show called Into the Badlands. It's like post-apocalyptic / kung fu situation.
I tried.
FX show, I think.
It's a AMC show.
AMC.
Yeah.
I tried.
I'm all in. I'm like it. I've watched most of the first 2 seasons. I think there only are 2 seasons or whatever, and I still don't really know what's going on, and I don't need to, just because like it's great. Like there's some weird shit that happens, and it's just a total mind killer. It's like playing Candy Crush, but not even having to use your thumbs.
I was talking to someone the other day about bummer movies. Like, I don't want to watch a bummer movie. I want to watch
like
something
something that's gonna make you sad.
Yeah, like I mean, there's a place for it. Like Lincoln. I watched Lincoln the other day, and I knew it was going to be kind of a slow,
You
whatever.
mean like bummer like?
I mean
War?
bummer like. I'm afraid to watch what's that one? Moonlight. I hear that's a rough one to watch.
It's kind of like Your Mom's House kind of coined the terms. There's white bummer movies and there's black bummer movies.
Yeah, black bummer movies, 12 Years a Slave, Moonlight.
Yeah.
White bummer movie would be like I don't know. I can't even think of white bummer.
White bummer movie where
Monster.
it's like dad gets cancer, so the whole family comes. Monster.
Monster's a perfect one.
Yeah, so they're very different types.
Requiem
of movies.
for a Dream.
Requiem for a Dream is a white bummer movie.
I think that is the fucking top tier of white bummer movies.
Yeah. So not to steal from them, but I want to give them credit because they constantly talk about that.
But like, there's a place for those movies. Like, if I want to be, I don't know. I don't even want to watch those. If I'm like sitting down to watch TV, it means I don't have anything to do. And if I don't have anything to do, I want to be like, I want to have fun, and I don't want to be crying at the end of something.
Just do drugs and not move. That's the idea.
That's all I want to do. And I don't want to like contemplate life, pause it, and have like a deep discussion about life with my wife.
Sometimes
I just
that's
want to
necessary,
giggle.
though.
It is,
but you got to be in a very specific mood. But there's a reason why Lincoln was in my queue for almost a year before I watched it.
I mean, to be fair, I started Lincoln and I made it 5 minutes in, and I stopped and watched like Talladega Nights or something. I mean, I'm not trying to pretend that I'm not part of this.
Terminator 2 for the 90th time.
Yeah.
I mean,
whenever it's like, what are you in the mood for? It's either sci-fi or a comedy movie. That's it.
Dude, that's why I'm saying you guys. I just watched this movie Titan last night on Netflix. Have you guys watched that yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
Titan?
Yeah.
Titan.
Yeah. That's the movie with
from
Avatar. The guy from Avatar. I loved it. Loved it until the last 15 minutes.
Me too. All right, so we
fucking hated
and
it.
I don't want spoiler
Yeah,
alert.
you should watch it to get fucking angry.
Yeah. Because it's like really, really, really well done, and then they just like skip hella steps, and suddenly it's like the end.
Yeah.
And it's like, what the fuck? And then
it pivoted into this very dumb thing.
I would say close your ears, and you and I would talk about this, but we're recording, and probably other people have not watched this movie.
just watch it, but go into it knowing that you're going to be disappointed
so at
the
end. The main character, he is in his new home, and it's like they did not set him up with any infrastructure to fucking change anything.
Yeah.
So they went through the whole thing.
I gotta watch this.
You know what I mean?
There was a question of motivation on several characters' parts, and it's just like I don't think the government is going to spend trillions on that.
Well, and especially the way it ends up, it's like, all right, so he's like,
so he's just
flying
there.
around,
yeah.
and then that's what's happening, and there's no anyway.
So sorry about the spoilers, but check it out. You're not missing much.
No. But you should
the
totally
whole
watch
the
it.
whole first 3/4 of the movie is amazing. Was
really good.
so good,
Yeah.
and then it just took this fucking really ugly turn, and it's just like that like whoever wrote that or directed it or whoever had that creative control must have been a very convincing person, because fucking what the Sam something or other is the guy.
Sam Worthington?
Sam
Well,
Worthington.
yeah, that's his. Yeah.
Yeah, like at some point didn't you go, are you sure we want to do that? Why didn't he go, are you sure we want to do that at some point?
Because
gotta hit your mark.
That
Right,
seems
so
like a movie where
getting back to Netflix as sort of like a creator of content, I think that they've shown a track record of being significantly more capable of producing miniseries and producing like deeper looks at things and like things that unfold over like a longer period of time than movies.
Yeah.
Like they did that movie. I haven't seen it, but
Bright.
they did that movie Bright with Will Smith.
I loved it.
You loved it. Okay, it was universally panned.
Yeah.
I didn't hate it. I was
okay, and I haven't seen it, so I can't.
I find myself on Netflix original movies. I find myself
what
going
other
either
movies?
this sucks or that was fine.
Right,
So-
but
okay,
so
so-
with Titan, I was like, that was fine. It could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I haven't seen a movie, like a standalone hour and a half special movie that they've made that I've been like, holy shit, that fucking changed my life.
With Bright, the thing with Bright is
Don't go too
just
deep down the
I'm not
fucking
going
rabbit
to.
hole
It's
here.
just with that movie there were so many things that made up for the things that I didn't like. That it came out overwhelmingly in the positive for me. Other people not so much. But everyone else who's like super like Lou Agresta fucking loves that movie.
Yeah.
Guys like that fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
And Netflix doesn't give a shit what the reviews are. They give a shit of how many people are watching it, and then they go, that was worth doing. Because they look at things as hours of content to keep people on the platform. That's it. There's no commercials at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like they're investing money just to bring in more subscribers. You know what I mean?
So
and it's a very different platform.
Arc was a Netflix original. That one was good.
I like
thought
that a
was
lot.
cool.
Yeah, that was a good time travel.
The
movie.
Ritual. It was like a horror, like a Norse mythology horror movie. That was really good too. I
feel like I
really
watched
liked
that,
it.
but
It
I
was
feel
good.
like I was
I
probably
feel like
drinking.
that's true with every Netflix anything. I'm like, I think I might have watched that, and I feel like I was probably drinking.
There are sometimes when I get 25 minutes into a movie and I go, I fucking watched this already.
Well,
but it's just like it's when you pick out a movie at 11:15 at night, and you
Right.
fall asleep 3/4 of the way through it because you had like a fifth of fucking bourbon that day.
Dude, for me, what the worst thing is like, so again, it was the same thing. Like I just watched a little bit of it today, but Into the Badlands, which again is just total mind killer, like Netflix porn where it doesn't even fucking matter. And I opened up the where it was like continue watching, and I played it, and I was like, I don't remember this at all. And then I went back like to the beginning of that episode, and I was reading the 10-word description. I was like, I don't remember any of this. And then I had to go 2 episodes back, and I realized I was halfway through an episode 3 episodes before that, and I had like passed out at 2 a.m, and it just autoplayed.
I've
through
done that.
And then I was like, well, not that it ruined anything for me, but I literally had to I spent like 10 minutes figuring out like where the fuck I was in the context of the show itself, and I was like 3 episodes back from where it thought I was.
Even worse is when you and the person that's actually paying for it, who doesn't live in my house,
I
who's
am
a totally
actually
different
paying for
other
it,
person,
but yeah.
when we're watching the same show at the same time, and it gets all fucked up, and it's like I can't yell at him; he fucking pays for it, you know. But he always gets pissed at me because my girlfriend falls asleep like 2 hours before I do every night, and she's a very light sleeper, so I turn the subtitles on for everything and turn the volume way down. So every time he turns on a Netflix show at 5 p.m. the next day, the subtitles are on.
Yeah.
I feel bad actually. The one thing that I'm not paying for is I use my mom's Amazon Prime account, I pay for everything else. Well, except actually I have my buddy's HBO account too.
Yeah,
But,
that's where it's at.
Yeah.
We pay for Amazon. I steal Netflix, HBO, and Hulu.
That's like the modern man is like
Yeah.
figuring out what he will pay for and where he can steal everything else.
Yeah, there was
Nothing
a-
much has changed since the 1920s. But
That being said, the one thing that I do like about Twitter is when other people find funny things on Twitter and put them up like as memes. That way I can consume it that way without actually going on Twitter. And one of them was when Netflix was going to raise the rate. And it's like, I am appalled that my ex-girlfriend's father-in-law now has to pay more for my Netflix account.
also the rate went from like $9.25 to like $10.50
Yeah, it's
or
nothing.
something. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, what's
not
$1.25 to you per month? Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. But no, I feel bad for my mom because like for whatever reason, when I get on Amazon, I just feel the need to watch like the worst action movies of all time. And so then I'm on like my poor
Jean-Claude
sweet
Van Johnson is
like
a good show to check out.
68-year-old mother's Amazon account, and it's like recommended movies for you based on your viewing history, and it's like just the most violent shit
Yeah.
ever. And then like like Christmas movies because like that's what she was watching. It's just like horrible action movies and sci-fi and
Miracle
then, like,
on 34th Street.
yeah, and then like Miracle on 34th Street. And I was like, oh man, this is bad. I hope she never tries to stream things on here. But anyways, yeah, there you go.
I wanted to jump back. We went way off topic, but I just cracked open the Raspberry Reserve, and this is by far my favorite.
Oh, cool.
This is awesome. I love this.
I would have trouble picking a favorite. Really would.
Out of the three?
Because all of these would depend on what my mood was.
It's super, super dry.
Well, there's 0 gram sugar in that. Yeah.
Also?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's no nutrition facts on that because it's small batch printing or whatever. But it is 0 gram sugar. It's fermented to full dryness. Whereas the ginger actually has a slight amount of sugar in it because we're afraid we put 1,000 gallons of ginger every 1,000 gallons of cider had 200 pounds of ginger in it. So we were afraid that if we fermented to full dryness, it would be like way too spicy.
yeah.
Right? So we actually arrested fermentation on the ginger, which is why the ABV is 5.4%. The ABV is lower. And this has like, I think 6 grams of sugar per 12 ounces. But yeah, the raspberry is completely sugar-free. It's 0 gram sugar.
It's the smell. I'm drinking it out of, a stemless wine glass just because it's the house wine. It's the house glasses that we have down here. But the smell of it, like the aroma of the raspberries. This is fucking great. It's like
yeah, it's fun.
Like this might be my top of the favorite ciders period thing.
It's spectacular. I did a raspberry.
So
you remember the raspberry mead that I did?
Yeah,
Kind of reminds me of that.
Yeah, it does.
If you guys ever want to do a small batch wild raspberry, I know exactly where you can go and pick them all.
Yep.
Cool.
You gotta do it shirtless. That's the rule.
Yeah, you gotta do it shirtless on the side of the road.
I mean, listen, I do very little. I do very few things in this life with a shirt on. This is I'm.
This is one of them.
This is one of them where I'm trying to keep my shit together right now, and it's also a little chilly, so I have a shirt and also a sweater on. But most of the rest of my sales pitches, every time I go into an account, I'm just topless.
Just shirtless.
Yeah,
just walking to some office building in Brooklyn.
Showing off the 32-year-old kind of flaccid, like weird, flabby chest thing going on. Yeah.
You ever just wake up one day and be like, fuck, if I drink one more goddamn cider, I'm going to kill myself. I need a goddamn beer now.
You know what's funny, man? I thought that would happen, like, because I was a total beer drinker. You know, and like I was saying, like, when I drank this, I was like, holy shit, I actually like this, Like, that was my first thought. And I don't know if it's because I have access to kind of, like, unlimited amounts of cider at this point, or if it's just that it's become part of my life, but I can't drink more than like 1 or 2 beers now. Especially the beers that I like to drink. They're usually like higher ABV, stronger, thicker beers.
Barley wine types, or
not even that,
more like stouts and stuff.
No, like even just like strong IPAs. Like I'm a huge IPA fan, but like just and not even being celiac at all, but just getting into stuff where like I like 7%, 8% beers. But just not even about the ABV, but just somehow the thickness of it. Like if I drank more than two pints of beer, I get tired. I just get really tired. And with cider, I for better or for worse, probably for worse, but I can put away quite a few of them, and I feel like if anything, it invigorates me.
Well, with the fucking your guys, you're 7% on these, or 6.9%. That's like, that's some lethal shit after a while.
But the thing is, it's
not for me.
It's
Speaking
not,
of which, I'm completely out of cider.
it's not. Well, here.
Ooh, if you have more. Otherwise, I got to switch to PBR.
And we don't want to do that.
Thank you.
But it's not heavy. The thing is, like, it's nice and light and effervescent, and there's an element of it that really, it is 7%, but it's almost like drinking white wine, but like the ABV is lower, so like you can kind of just like cruise along on like a lower ABV kind of champagne.
I'm
vibe.
equating your stuff to drinking more like prosecco or some sort of brut champagne.
Right, but it's not as effervescent as like a brut champagne,
right?
And it's not as sweet as a prosecco, and also the ABV is about cut in half. So like a lot of times champagne and prosecco is going to be like 13-14%, right? So you're coming at 7%.
I'm
so
just
you can
talking
then you can like sip on it a lot longer, and you can drink a lot more of it than you would like a prosecco, champagne, where you're drinking it to the face and the bubbles get in your head and fucking fall down.
I
on
love
the ground
prosecco. It gets me really fucking tuned up. I love it.
Yeah.
But that's what I feel like I'm with this. I can actually sip this a little bit slower because the flavor is. Oh God, I can't get over how good this is, man. This is really like blowing my fucking mind. I love it.
The raspberry's fun, man. I enjoy the raspberry quite a bit. And again, we do put that into cans, and we have quite a bit that we sell at farmers markets, and we sell only through our tap rooms, and we self-distribute to like a few select accounts, mostly in the city. But if you want to drink it, basically your best option is to come to the tap rooms.
Can you give out what apples you use?
Yeah, so actually,
nice.
Yeah, so in the
like I said, I go to Wilklow and I know what they got, and we usually show up late, so we're like reduced to like wine sap and fucking Granny Smith.
The dry, for example, is 100% Empires.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're one of the only companies to put. So like when we first started making cider, people came at us, and some of the like hoity-toity, more like established craft cider companies were like, you have to use, you have to use the same apples that our forefathers were using in the 1800s.
Get the fuck out of
right?
here with your
And you
bullshit.
have to, you have to pursue this specific fermentation process and whatever.
Fuck you. It's
And
like
we
that
were
German,
like
purity law.
we were like, yo, first of all, if you gave like a Honeycrisp as opposed to this non-edible bullshit apple that used to exist in the 1800s.
Yeah.
Like, there's been a lot of advances in farming techniques. There's been a lot of advances in just human techniques. Like, we have fucking plumbing now, and we have like hot showers and shit, and like refrigeration. So fuck you and your goddamn heirloom apples,
That was the reason that they used heirloom apples for cider back then, was because it was a way to make it consumable.
No, because they could not eat the fucking
Yeah,
apples.
exactly.
And so they're like, well, what can we do with this? And then Johnny Appleseed came along. He was like, yo, you can get drunk off this shit.
Yeah.
And also maybe I'll take your wife in the back and give her the time of her life. And I wear no shoes. And here's how to deal with your fucking apple, overage or whatever.
Yeah, and it was also a way to keep sugar and calories through the winter. Because an apple would rot after 3 or 4 months.
Right, and so like you would eat the apple until it was no longer good, and then you would ferment the apple until it was booze, and then you would drink the booze until it was no longer good, and then it would turn into vinegar, and then you would use the vinegar until like it ran out. Yeah. And like that was the process, right?
Yeah, and hopefully it's spring by then. And
right, and then
you're not about to die.
Yeah,
it was something like the average American drank almost like, it was like 25 gallons of it's like 100 gallons of apple cider or hard apple cider a year. Something like that.
Because they didn't have any other booze.
Yeah.
And so like that's the funny thing about Johnny Appleseed. Like you hear that story, it's he's
it
out in the
was
wilderness telling people how to grow apples. He was telling people how to grow apples because they were bored as fuck because they're on the wilderness and they wanted to get drunk.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, check this shit out. Here's how you get drunk. And they were like, dope. Teach me this shit.
Yeah.
And that was the whole thing, man. And so now you have these. And whatever. Like now you have these people who are like, oh well, we have to the tannic properties of the fucking heirloom. Like the 18, and it's like, dude. So anyways, so that shit is nonsense. And so B, we're using in the dry, for example, we're using just Empires, and so. But the great thing is because Empires have this beautiful sort of like appley taste to them, we can ferment to full dryness, and there is no sugar, but just the taste of the apple itself comes through, and kind of even though like again then the ABV is nice and high, like 7% ish, but the taste of the Empire itself comes through even though we fermented to full dryness, and so there's that like beautiful apple taste, but it's dry. There's no sugar at all, and so it counteracts itself. Whereas, again, with the heirloom apples, a lot of times it's so tart or so fucked up, weird tasting, and again, it's a non-edible varietal of apple that like they have to back sweeten it or they have to arrest fermentation to leave some sugar in there purposely,
so it'll taste like
so that it'll taste like cider, and that they're like obfuscating the taste of the fact that the apple tastes like shit in the first place. So just like use a good tasting apple.
Yeah.
So I'm picking up that Empire isn't the only one that you use.
No, so. I forget exactly what that raspberry. I think the raspberry might have also been Empires, but for example, the ginger was like a mixture of Empires, Ida Reds, and Macoons. Those are like typically the three.
I like the Macoons. Those
yeah,
are
the
those
Macoons
big
are
ass
nice.
ones, right?
Yeah.
I
So
cook with
those were like pretty much the three varietals that we would kind of use as a blend. Although we have transitioned in the last year towards almost mostly using Empires, and we also have transitioned in the last year. Out of we've grown big enough that we can't get them entirely from the farm itself, and we now like we're getting them from like our neighbor, And
oh shit!
They're still like completely from the Hudson Valley. But But it's just like we need more juice
there's
than
fucking
the
apple
farm
farms all
can.
over
Exactly.
the place,
So
all over that area.
and again, we're used because the thing is like we're using primarily like hail hit apples or things that are like ugly apples or like can't get sold at market type thing, and just
apples that look like actual apples in the wilderness.
Exactly. But are still man-made, produced, whatever.
How do you feel about the Red Delicious apple?
I hate the fucking Red Delicious.
I do too. I think it's the worst apple.
It's a bad
out there.
apple. We've never.
That's why they named it that.
They
named it that.
It tastes like chalk.
It's the same reason why Greenland is called Greenland.
And it's the inverse of why Iceland is called Iceland.
Yeah.
Because they want you to
Red
not
Delicious
come.
is the Greenland of apples.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck a bunch of Red Delicious apples, man.
Red Delicious are bad. I mean, we have used them in cider, but like just as part of like a mixture of...
Like a sweetener type of thing?
Yeah, but I mean, again, we're fermenting a full dryness, so it's not like a sweetener. It's just like if we ran out of other apples and needed to throw them in
if it's in cider, you don't get that sandy sugar.
Yeah.
Fucking
mealy. Mealy is what you're looking for.
It doesn't matter what when you pick those pieces of shit, they always taste like they've been sitting in a bucket in the garage for like 3 months. It's gross.
I've had zero success making cider at home. Zero. And I don't know why.
Hard cider?
Yeah. I've only tried it like 3 or 4 times. I make a lot of other stuff.
Well, maybe Bram
and
can
my
tell
buddy
you why.
Chad, who's not me, makes moonshine, and it comes out very good. But yeah, cider, every time I've tried it, it comes out like really, really acidic. And I don't know why. It's probably just whatever cider I'm buying at the store.
Bram, thoughts?
That's a Devin question.
Yeah.
No, I don't pretend to know more than I do naturally about the fermentation process and everything. But like I said, we have a good process at the farm and at the company where basically Albert grows the apples, Devin makes the cider. He's the pH master, fermentation, chemistry dude. So like all of those questions as to why your cider sucked would be that would be a Devin question.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't tried that many
But if you ever
times,
make
but
good cider and you
yeah.
need somebody to sell it, then you could ask me how to do that.
Well, if I made it in my kitchen, you can't sell it legally in
No.
New York. Yeah.
I'm over the moon about this. I can't get over it.
Yeah, it was so delicious. I finished it 10 minutes ago. I was halfway done with it by the time we came back from break. I would say if I had to pick a favorite, it would be the ginger. But I think that's the mood that I'm in today. I think that it might be different tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. I had a ginger beer last night that was like monster fucking ginger.
Right.
It was that like back of the throat burn kind of thing, and I get the same from this.
Right.
So I guess that's it's delicious. I love it. but I just had ginger last
Right.
night.
Yeah.
So I think this raspberry, the freshness and the like the bright fruit flavor of it is really what's just.
I mean, for me,
setting it
I
off for me
still
right now.
and even as evidence, like I just brought you guys some samples of the raspberry and the ginger, but like I still almost 95% of the time, even when I'm at the tap rooms, I just drink dry. You know, it's just I can't get over how much I like it. And I'm still like, you know, to this day surprised at how much I still do like the dry, and that it's, you know, unlike when I was, you know, touring for a bunch of years, like I got sick of the music that I was playing. With the dry, it's like, man, this is just simple and good and straightforward and something that I can drink on a daily basis, and something that I can sell with a clear conscience, you know.
Yeah.
And it there is something very very special about that, and again, that's why we have decided to just send that out, you know, specifically to all our distributors and everything. So
That's the other thing too. If you really enjoy what you're peddling,
yeah,
it makes a serious difference. Like the coffee at the coffee shop. People come in. Somebody came in the other day and they were like, I heard a rumor, and I was like, what's the rumor? That you guys have the best coffee in the area. I'm like, yes. I just said yes. I didn't say, well, you know, there's other good North River Roasters. They're really good too. And I was just like, nope, ours is the shit. Like, because I love our fucking coffee.
There's like a sort of backhand to North River Roasters.
North River's great. They make great fucking coffee, but I like ours better.
Yeah,
that's just the
we
way
don't
it goes.
we don't make ours, so
we
it's
don't make ours.
It's because we have good taste. That's what it is. Well, Tanner does. We don't get it. We don't make any decisions.
But what I'm saying is, like, when you're passionate about, when you really enjoy and you're passionate about what you're selling, it just helps even more, and especially when you're just passionate about just the flagship one.
Well, people can see and appreciate that honesty.
Yeah,
you know, and that's like I can tell you like it. You had 2. You know, you would have only had 3. Well,
no, 2. It was
he only
2.
had one.
It was definitely
he only
2.
had 1.5, and then drove the company van home. But yeah, it's like when people go, "Hey, what tea would you recommend?" I go, "I fucking hate tea. You're gonna have somebody else."
Try pastries.
Yeah.
So which one of these are good? I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
They sound good.
Yeah.
Cherry and almond Danish. That sounds really good to me.
The croissants aren't burnt today. we don't make our pastries. So I won't name names.
Shit.
But yeah, and another thing, I have acid reflux and I don't have heartburn right now, so that's a good sign with a cider. Because if I have 2 angry orchards, I have to stop drinking.
2 or woodchuck.
Woodchuck, oh.
Woodchuck is just
the
woodchuck is the equivalent of like 12 packs of sugar in your coffee. It's like just.
Yeah, I love that people are making drier things now, and they don't feel like they have to just market towards the lowest common denominator all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, that is our position where it's like, you know, we're making a craft product, but we're putting it into a can that can be consumed by kind of anyone, and we've had success both obviously like in much more like craftier places, but also just in like some dive bars. Like some of our biggest accounts are randomly like places that you would never expect, you know.
Yeah, and it's that like we'll have customers come in that are obviously Starbucks customers. They order a caramel macchiato, and we go, we don't do that. And then it's just like, I can make you something similar, but it's going to be significantly less sweet, but I want you to try it first. And every single time that person does not put more sugar in their coffee.
Right.
Every time, because you don't need it. That's there to cover things up.
Right.
You know, so to go just try it, people go, holy shit, I don't need all of that sugar. Right. You know what I mean? It's just like an addiction.
Well, and again, it goes back to holy shit, I actually really like this. You know, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And
what does it say on the back of this can? Man, this is really good.
Yeah, on the raspberry. Well, it's funny because again, like people drink a raspberry cider, they think it's going to be fucking sweet. You know?
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be the sweetest one. Actually, the sweetest one was the ginger one.
That was why I put it last, just assuming that was how it was going to be.
Yeah.
But I probably would have done the ginger last. But I'm glad that we had
it's actually
like
really nice, and I should have done this before you guys kill the gingers, but ginger and raspberry, like half and half, is fucking super nice.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too late
Damn
now.
it.
It's too late now. I don't have any more ginger, unfortunately, nor do I have any more raspberry.
So we'll have to try it. We'll have to
yeah.
try it when we check out your
But if you
tap
come to
room.
the tap room, you
Yeah.
can just ask for like ginger and raspberry mix.
Yeah.
Just- Just pour whatever.
Let's do that.
Yeah.
Or you could bring samples to the Crafted Cup on the 20th.
Or also
and
that,
then
which
we
I
can
will
do
be
that.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna have ginger that day though.
Okay.
I will probably have raspberry and dry though.
Well, if you could just snag one bottle just so that we can have it.
Yeah. Well, I can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because Ryan and I will. I think we're both working that night.
Yes,
right?
we are.
Yeah, so we're both going to be there. Ryan will be doing the audio. I will be barista-ing and not drinking cider.
No, he's going to be totally
I will have
sober.
a single shift drink, Tanner and Sabrina. Neither one of them are listening.
I think that's a good note, right?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Bram, thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on, man.
Yeah,
this
thanks
was
for having me.
this was great.
Yep.
Eye opening. Like I said, I had the dry a long time ago, and I never revisited it, and I'm ashamed.
I'm
Don't ever be
appalled
ashamed.
with myself.
But
I think especially if we get your stuff in it. There you go. So you got it on the first try. Especially if we get your stuff in a Crafted Cup, I'm going to be drinking it a lot.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
If anything, the employees will drink it all.
We
I
also
feel-
are,
I feel like
think,
it's gonna
pretty
move,
much
so-
usually available at halftime as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
For sure.
For those local listeners.
Let's do a proper plug here. It's Bad Seed Cider, badseedhardcider.com, facebook.com/Bad Seed Cider, and at Bad Seed Cider on Instagram. You guys are doing a what was this weekend? I didn't. You guys are doing something this weekend?
We're doing a thing with Brooklyn Brewery down in Brooklyn called the Brooklyn Brewery Beer Mansion something. It's at the Whalen right in Williamsburg, and tickets are still available. It's going to be crazy. I'm actually, speaking of music, I'm actually randomly going to be double dipping and playing like an old-time jazz session thing
Cool.
on the second session of Saturday,
Oh,
which is
right
going to be
on.
fun with,
Awesome.
with the owner of Fifth Hammer, Kuzmi, who's an old friend of mine who's also a great tenor player, which is totally random, but that's happening.
That's really fucking cool.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. Just Google Brooklyn Brewery Beer Mansion if you are interested, and tickets are still available, I think.
Also, make sure you check out the tap room for Bad Seed Cider at 43 Bally's Gap Road in Highland, New York. May 5th, they're doing a spring comedy show fundraiser to benefit Book Buddies, a nonprofit organization that gives adult volunteers the opportunity to read one-on-one with elementary school children in school.
And also, we just opened the first ever, like I said, tap room down in Brooklyn at 585 Franklin Avenue between Atlantic and Pacific, and we have a old-time music jam session that happens every Thursday night from 8 to 11 p.m. So come
so
check
you
that
got
out.
like an open.
Yeah, like an open.
mic?
It's not open mic. I mean, it's not open mic because
It's an
more
open
like
jam session.
Open jam session, like come like fiddles, like think like Oh Brother Where Art Thou type stuff.
Beacon, Dennings Point Distillery in Beacon.
Oh, cool.
They do that on second Saturday.
Nice.
They have an open mic blues jam.
Yeah, we're doing it every Thursday.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Every Thursday. Shit.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, thanks a lot, everybody. Want to also mention HV Creator Fest, HV Creator Fest on Facebook. That's the little festival that we're putting on May 12th.
Hopefully medium-sized festival.
Hopefully medium-sized festival. It's all about local creators, crafters, musicians, artists. It's just if it's
Brewers.
Brewers,
Hopefully,
distilleries. If it's
yeah.
made in the Hudson Valley,
Yeah,
we
we're all
want
about
we
it.
want
so if
you.
you know anybody who makes
We want
stuff,
you.
If you know anybody who
I'll be
makes
there.
stuff,
I think I'll be there. I
Yeah.
gotta double check, but
yeah.
I think I'll be there.
So let us know. I gave
Yeah.
you the packet.
Yeah.
I don't want to pressure you.
Yeah.
But we really hope that they'll be there.
Yes.
But we got a couple breweries, one meadery. The other meadery can't make it because of a previous engagement. But we're gonna be there's gonna be tastings. There's going to be puppies there with Take Me Home Pet Rescue. So go there and get a puppy.
There's gonna be
I actually need a
painting.
puppy.
Yeah. Huh?
I'm actually like in the
Yeah.
market for a puppy.
Do you want mine? I fucking hate him. I got him from Take Me Home Pet Rescue. It's not their fault that he's a piece of shit. Last week. Okay, so So
All right,
last week,
I'm all in for this story. Let's go. Do you have photographic evidence? What's going on here? You're opening your backpack.
do you see this battery?
I do see that battery.
This is a lithium-ion battery. If you chew on it until you get into the lithium, and it is a charged battery, it will very quickly accelerate to 1,200 degrees and light your hardwood floor on fire.
Right.
That is what happened. The dog chewed through a battery, it lit on fire, filled my house with smoke, burned this exact shape into the hardwood floor, and then the dog got scared and pissed on the floor.
Did he piss on it and put out the fire?
No, it was 15 feet away. It was the opposite end of the fucking hallway. So, yeah, don't chew lithium-ion batteries, and don't put them where your dumb fuck dog can get at them.
The more you know.
Yeah. So, yeah, a lot of people don't realize that. If you take a knife out and you stab your iPhone, it will light on fire. It will. I learned that from Bear Grylls, and then I tried it, and it does work.
Wow. Wait, why did you stab your iPhone?
Oh, no, it wasn't my iPhone. I got a new phone, and I was going to throw out the old one, so I stabbed the battery like Bear Grylls did, and it lit the fuck on fire, and then my dog did the same thing 8 years later. Yeah, so lithium-ion batteries, very dangerous.
So
People don't realize
this
this
Come to the event and adopt a dog, and maybe you'll burn
and
your
maybe
house
you'll
down.
burn your fucking house down.
Yeah, so why
but
don't you
anyway.
cool your jets about getting a puppy for
Yeah.
another month, and then...
Yeah, we're going to have a pet rescue there. And another thing is all of this is for charity. It's benefiting Heroic Food, Inc. Jump on Facebook, give them a like. They're a really great charity. They teach veterans sustainable farming. Super, super awesome local charity. They're very grassroots. They're still very small. Our friend Ryan is very heavily involved. That's why we picked them.
They're actually focusing very heavily on apple orchards because there's so goddamn many around here, and
it's
they're
definitely
looking for
a
hands
great
and everything
crop.
like that. So it pairs well with their mission. So, yeah.
So hopefully we're gonna get some local farms. Actually, we could talk to Woklo. They might want to do something.
Absolutely, I would love to have them there.
So yeah, it's like this year is going to be very centered on it's all about local businesses, local creators, very very small operations as well as larger operations that are local like you guys, just people that make stuff. And we're gonna have beer, we're gonna have tastings, we're gonna have all kinds of cool stuff as well as live music for 6 hours straight.
Right on.
Yeah, as long as Ryan keeps it together.
I got it. It's together.
Yeah, he's a professional engineer.
So,
and I will be flying a drone and taking pictures. It's gonna be a great day.
Over the course of the show, you might have noticed Adam's been compiling a list of titles, as have I.
Oh, good, because I was slacking.
Yeah, you were.
I got the winner though.
We were too busy.
We'll see.
You go ahead. We'll see.
All right. No, I want you to go first.
All right. So, what I have is I do very few things with a shirt on. And also, fuck you and your heirloom apples.
That's good, but we actually can't get monetized now. Stupid fucking YouTube. So I have Dong Gong Thong Song.
I forgot I said that.
Oh no!
Yeah, I already beat you. Definitely already beat you. I have patent leather Budweiser shoes.
I like that one.
And the Greenland of apples.
The Greenland of apples. Oh Jesus! We got a couple tough ones. What do you think here?
I mean, are you going for clicks or are you going for like actually people listening to this?
Nobody's listening.
I would go with Dong Gong Thong Song.
Yeah, that's the best one. Dong Gong Thong Song.
All right. Circle that.
And that is going to be, that also is going to be a forever hashtag on this show. Along with, Dick's Out for Bosch. There's a couple other ones.
I'm going to hashtag, fuck your heirloom apples.
You see, this is what happens. He's like, I got him. I'm going to get the title this week.
I forgot about the
all
early one.
3 of mine beat all 3 of yours.
I don't know. Fuck your heirloom apples is pretty good.
It's good,
yeah,
but it's a better hashtag, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you put a curse in the title, no one's ever going to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, even Thong is it's ridiculous.
It's all about clicks. It's all about clicks. You know.
do know.
All about it. Thank you so much for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me. It was a
was
pleasure.
great.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah. One more time. Bad Seed Cider. BadSeedHardCider.com. Bad Seed Cider on Facebook.
Yeah.
Do it. Do it.
Also, wait.
What are we doing next week?
No, I forgot. I was going to talk to you about your music, too. I was listening to the album that you just shared, Yarrow, Kim Anderson.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I knew he would hate it, so that's fine.
It's not my thing.
Yeah, he's more of a like Moon of Nations guy.
Yeah, I like loud screaming and yelling.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it, so I
Cool.
just wanted to tell you that.
Awesome.
So if you guys,
my wife just released her debut album.
Yeah.
On
She's a beautiful
Friday.
singer.
She's
beautiful
a great singer, yeah.
and the composure and all the music composition and all the music and everything. It's beautiful to listen to. It's just not my speed. That's just not me.
So, but if you guys want, like, we would love to play some stuff on breaks and shit like that. So,
Sure, yeah.
if you guys are,
of course.
I don't know if you're signed or whatever, or just
we are, but I
yeah.
can also just sign off on whatever.
So, if you guys were interested in that, we'd love to do it.
Sure.
So, yeah,
we'll have that
maybe you
conversation
guys can
off.
come on.
Oh yeah.
Also that.
Bring your wife. You can noodle around on the guitar.
There you go.
Yeah, we do live music in here pretty regularly, and we're also thinking about putting out some comps and stuff like that. So
cool.
It might be fun. Maybe you could play next year at Creator Fest.
There you go.
Oh shit!
It's all coming together.
Making contacts.
Yeah.
All right. All right, kids. We'll see you next week. What do we have?
Fuck if I know. Oh, Midway.
Ooh.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Let me just double check. Yeah, the 16th, Midway.
All right. Well,
so that's a local Vassar College band. They're very talented.
Yep.
And they're also adorable.
Adorable couple.
Yeah, they're just
adorable couple.
They're so gay for each other. It's gross.
All right. So, next week, thank you to Bad Cider. Thank you, Bram, for bringing us these delicious beverages. And that's it.
I have to pee again.
Goodbye, everyone.